You're now rocking one-on-one with Raider Mystic KPOV 88.9.
One-on-one with Raider Mystic. Yay!
To me, there are three things we all should do every day. If we do this every day of our life, you're going to have, what a wonderful, number one is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number two is think. You should spend some time in thought. And number three is you should have your emotions moved to tears. Could be happiness or joy. But think about it. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special.
You want sports content that you've never heard in your entire life? Check me out every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's One-on-One with Raider Mystic. We sit down, we have a cup of coffee, and we break it down for 60 minutes, one-on-one with a sports athlete. Traverse the universe with me of sports as we interview all walks of life. We are just getting started. The only sports talk show in Central Oregon. I'm your guy. It's One-on-One with Raider Mystic.
Long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
One-on-one, go Giants!
All right, good morning, y'all.
That hot old summer sun.
Hot old summer sun's about to come out after this weekend, I guess, because looks like it's going to be a nice, comfortable, cool weekend here in the CO. Got a special guest back for a repeat performance. Got Josh Pardee in the house here.
Good morning, guys.
And we're going to be talking about one of Central Oregon's favorite sports. I don't know if it's a sport.
It's a sport.
It's a sport. It's more like a country state of mind, though, you know what I'm saying?
It's more like a lifestyle. I mean, if you live here, it's a lifestyle.
Yes, sir. And one that you live to the fullest at the moment.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into that. I also want to say, hey, we got a pair of tickets to go see the Bend Elks this summer. Bend Elks, give a shout out to the station, shout out to the baseball team. Somehow a pair of tickets landed in my lap over here.
We are excited
and
to give it away.
We are going to give those tickets away at the mid-hour. Going to play a song, have you call in. I'll give you a little time to actually research if you're able to.
Oh, Google will ruin it.
I don't know. I don't even know if Google got it, right?
I used to have a website that listed it all, but I don't know.
Oh, you got one, huh?
Let's just give them a relative hint of what the question's going to be about. We're going to quiz you on species on one of our water bodies in Central Oregon.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We're gonna. I'll even give a little more information. It's gonna be a lake.
Yes.
It's not technically. I'm not even gonna.
Okay, it's a reservoir. It's a reservoir.
All right, and
clues.
We're gonna ask you what species of fish are in that body of water. And the winner, you're gonna call us. I'll give you our phone number. I'll give it to you right now just in case, but just write it down. We're not going to take the calls right now. We are live on the air, kpov.org or KPOV Bend 88.9 FM on the dial. The phone number is going to be, remember, I'm going to let you know when to call. That'll be at the mid-hour, but the phone number is 541-322-0863, and we're going to be taking that call at the mid-hour. We're going to drop a little more information and then let you know the question, I'd say around 8:25.
If they listen close, we might even cover the topic.
We might. Oh, wow. This is like a high school test.
Yeah.
Not only are we going to give you all the answers if you listen, if you call in and go the extra mile, you'll have a pair of tickets to a Bend Elks game.
Yeah. American staple, hot dog, baseball, catch you a foul ball.
So the culmination of the dream of a sports talk show coming all together here. Yeah. We're giving out tickets to baseball games and
talking fishing.
And
wishing that the sun was out this weekend.
And wishing, I'm okay with it though. I did a little research too. I'm not really like the type to jump into the Farmer's Almanac and check out what the future beholds from the books and stuff. But it seems to be saying in all directions from almanacs and scientists and all this and jibber and jabber that this summer might be a little milder as far as like extreme heat.
Yeah.
Because we were pretty hot the last couple of years.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Those 110, 115 or whatever.
I've already got pretty brown, though.
Yeah. And we've had some nice sun the last...
But I'm a redhead, so I get it quick. You know?
Yeah. You gotta get that sunscreen.
Yeah.
But exciting times. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping that we actually don't get that extreme heat. Where you have to put on multiple air conditioners and put the ice in the cooler or do whatever you got to do.
I didn't draw my deer tag this year, but yeah, usually deer season, man, end of August. Sometimes it can be 100 degrees and dry, and it would be nice to not do that this year.
Yeah, it's hot when it's hot. So, we have Josh Pardee in the house today. You've got a couple different sites and channels. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, I have Central Oregon Fishing Report. It is it's basically like a nonprofit brand, and the idea is just like the name suggests, we're just trying to be that authority to help you understand what's going on in Central Oregon as far as the fishing report goes. Me and my best friend started it in 2014, and it's kind of become its own creation now where we don't even really have to do much to it. Everybody just talks amongst each other and shares knowledge, and it's a beautiful thing.
Talk amongst yourselves.
And then I have a YouTube channel called In and On the Net, where fish go in the net and then on the internet. And the basic principle of that is knowledge. It's a huge space for educational topics to learn setups that you may never have known, or how to catch certain species, and so on and so forth. It's a place to learn.
Yes, very educational to get you through steps 1 all the way to 10.
That's right.
I've watched a handful of videos, many, and I like the way that he breaks it down to help teach you how to do things.
Basically, my epiphany on that was a lot of times when I do go fishing and I get talking to people, you'll always run into, I'm just going to throw a name out there, we're going to say it's Bob. You always run into Bob that's like, oh, how are you catching those fish? You know what I mean? And he wants
How are you catching those fish out there?
Yeah, and Bob wants to come over and, you help Bob out. And when I make those videos, I try to, envision that Bob is there.
Always wanted to learn one of those fishing ties.
Well, it's like there's absolute beginner ask questions that upon the surface you don't really think are going to get asked. And so that's, maybe dumbing it down like it's a 5-year-old is what I'm trying to say. But, I'm trying to always envision that Bob is there and he might ask me, well, why are we going to tie that knot?
Hey, I like that. And I like that his name is Bob.
Why not?
And then how do I cook it?
Yep.
But Josh has a lot of knowledge of all the fisheries and has been out quite a bit already this season, making me jealous because I have not.
As a matter of fact, I'm keeping a yearly tally of all of the fish that I catch, plus some bonus stats. So let's Let's check
bonus
this out.
stats.
Let's check this out really quick. Yeah. I mean, it's a sport, right? It's a sport. You got to know the numbers. So far in 2023, I've caught 93 fish. That's of 9 different species. One of my bonus stats is that on the 7th, just not long ago, I caught my personal best Oregon Chinook salmon, 30 pounds.
Yeah, I seen that picture, and that was a monster. It kind of looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, so it was a buck, so a male Chinook salmon. It wasn't, it's still going to be in the river for another like 6 months had I not caught it, so it wasn't totally falling apart or anything, but he had like bumped a boat or a rock and like sheared the side of his face. I mean, he was a warrior.
That was a big fish, yeah.
He was a fighter, I'll tell you that.
So it's the 30-pound club.
30 pound, 6 ounce. We call it the Dirty 30 Club.
The Dirty 30. So that's your biggest one to date.
That is the biggest one to date. That's made it into the net.
That made it into the net. Yeah, that's quite a feat for it to be in the river at that size.
Yeah.
And biting on something that you throw in there.
Oh man, in the spot that I caught that fish on,
to the net.
There's like this ripping current that usually when fish get into that, they're gone. And that fish got into it. And somehow halfway down it, when I was pretty much making my peace with the fact that see you later, he decided to turn around and came back up the current. And so I got super lucky.
Oh, wow. Bad decision, fishy.
It was a good fight. It was.
Yeah. How long?
It probably lasted maybe 5-6 minutes. It wasn't super long, but...
Yeah.
I mean, in that moment, it's an eternity.
The more time that goes by, the more chance of not probably bringing that thing in.
Yeah. They're strong. They break 50-pound braided line all the time.
Going through rocks, hitting things, bushes, twigs.
I was wrapped around a log, too, during the whole process.
Oh, you were wrapped around a log.
Yeah, it got the knees shaking.
Well, that was a huge fish. If you want to see a picture of it, I actually shared it on our Facebook one-on-one page. So one-on-one with Raider Mystic.
I shared it on Central Oregon Fishing Report, too, so you can find it there.
And there's a picture of here with Joshua and his Dirty 30. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
I'm not in it, actually.
My last one, my last personal best was 28, so like it was a nice fish, but it wasn't in the club.
Well, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
Didn't make the Mile High Club. No.
I made the cut by 6 ounces this time.
Yes, sir. And what area was that?
It's okay. You know what? We're gonna talk about all this. So that was on the Rogue River. The Rogue River is shaping up really nicely.
It looked like the Rogue River.
A lot of our spring salmon are shaping up nice. The Rogue's doing really well. There's a lot of fish in there. I went and visited the McKenzie. There's lots of fish there, starting to show up towards Leeburg Dam and every stretch in between. There's lots of fish coming up the North Umpqua River and the main stem of the Umpqua River. They're all showing up.
Now, Leeburg Dam, is that the one that you drive right by?
Yeah, you drive right past it.
It kind of has a little half circle to it when you drive by it.
Yeah, well, it's on Leeburg Lake there on the Santiam Highway.
Yeah.
And you can drive across the dam, and they have a hatchery over there, the Leeburg Hatchery.
Right.
Which is a cool place to visit, too, because they have a show pond that has, like, they're like 6-foot sturgeon or so.
Fish shows on the top of every hour.
Oh, yeah, it'll go tease
like Shamu.
And when I visited it, I went and walked across the dam, and you could see there was probably 1,000 salmon in the river that were trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
Because they just kind of get stuck there at first, but if you can see 1,000 of them right at the edge of the dam trying to figure out where to go, then there's a bunch in the river system.
Right.
So, and that's pretty much what I've been seeing all over the board, like North Umpqua River, like you go over there by like Deadline Falls and you can see them jumping there at the waterfall, and there's a bunch of fish hiding there. And you can't obviously you can't fish below the Leeburg Dam, you can't fish below Deadline Falls, but again, the point is that when you see 2,000 or 3,000 of them stacked at these points, you know that for the next 10 miles down the river there's a bunch of fish in it.
Yeah.
Can't catch fish if they're not in the river.
Yeah.
Timing's everything with a salmon.
Rather, when you look at the water and you don't see anything, or like one dead floating fish or something.
Especially in the fall when you fish salmon, like they jump and they eat bait like way more in the fall. And it's like, if you fish in a hole for 15 minutes and you don't see one jump, you don't get bit by one, like, chances are they're not there. Move on. They'll let you know. But yeah, all of our Springer rivers are really shaping up right now.
That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear. And then, as far as you've mentioned a handful of spots. Let's start out. I was talking about how tomorrow I was hoping to go fishing for Father's Day, since I can do whatever the heck I want, right? But
free pass day.
But you had mentioned a lot of places you've been. Let's start off with Paulina.
Okay. Yeah. So Paulina has been absolutely on fire for kokanee. We just filmed a video up there, and we pulled a 3-person limit in an hour. We were using Little Captain's kokanee tackle, mainly pink patterns, but it was just, I mean, you couldn't put the rods in before you're already netting a fish. It's like, because there was 3 of us, so we got 3 rods down. We did have 2 rod validations aboard the boat, but even just dancing 3 rods was crazy. So the kokanee are mainly sitting like 20 feet, 25 feet under the water, and we're hitting those at like 1 mile an hour. But I didn't fish particularly for trout, but I did run into dudes that were fishing for trout, and they were doing pretty good on them. Heard a guy caught a really nice brown recently up there.
Yeah, they got some nice browns, huh?
Yep, and I was seeing them on sonar. They're just hanging out right underneath of the kokanee because that's their food source. You can see on the sonar that it's a much larger mark. And, if you want to get into those, you just simulate those kokanee, take like a silver Rapala and drop it down deeper down underneath of those kokanee, and you'll pick up those fish.
So the brown's hanging out under the kokanee.
Yeah.
Like the Super Meg.
Looking to eat them. Yeah, that's right. Predators.
There's a new movie coming out, I think.
Yeah, I seen that.
Did you see that? Yeah.
And then the campgrounds are kind of finicky up there right now. The lodge is open, and from what I understand, the campgrounds are still all closed, and it's supposed to be a soon thing. And there's not a whole lot of snow left up there, but there is a little bit.
So did you go in with a boat?
Yeah.
Or were you on?
Yeah, we went
on
out there on a boat.
You said you were cruising. How was the docking, undocking
at
the launch?
At the lodge, yeah. I mean, they do have one little dock there, and it is got a couple of moorage slip spots. So
yeah,
you gotta be careful, but it's fine. We launched an 18-foot North River, so it's got space.
I'm thinking East Lake maybe on that one that has a little bit of a muddier.
Yeah. I haven't been to East yet this year.
You might not want to try that if you're not a sporty younger squirt.
I do know that up there at the Caldera there is a lot of stuff that still isn't open. Like they're just kind of getting to it. Some places, even where the snow is gone, it's like there's still down trees and things that just needs to get cleaned up before those gates get opened.
Okay. Yeah, just getting started.
Yeah.
gotta clean your room. Let the season start. And so, yeah, that sounds positive. Kokanee, Rockin', Paulina. East Lake is a place I've grown up always going as well. But yeah, I had heard that the boat launch was a little shaky, and it was a little shaky for me last season. And, you got to have 4-wheel drive in case you get stuck in the mud.
Yeah. And the Hot Springs boat ramp was really bad for years. There's like a giant boulder that was like right in the way. And I think they came and they pulled that boulder out. I'm pretty sure. I thought I seen a news article for it. I can't confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that I seen that.
Yeah, I've never tried that one. But maybe I should look into that also.
There's so many options that we just get distracted so quick.
Yeah. Just back in over there. So, and then as we move down the lakes, what else have you hit so far?
Oh my goodness! So I've hit Elk Lake. I've hit Lava Lake.
Elk Lake.
Elk Lake.
You tried fishing at Elk Lake?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So elk actually, there's no snow out there anymore. It's one of those places that even if you're not catching fish, it's hard to argue with. You have a beautiful view of Bachelor right in your face. Yep. You can see Broken Top. You can see South Sister, 3 mountains. We didn't catch nothing.
Yeah.
Sadly. We were chasing brook trout specifically, and the brookies just didn't want to come and play. There's plenty of fish jumping, and I'm sure if we wanted to target other things, we would have caught. The fish were active. We just didn't pick up any brookies. But it was beautiful out there. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Elk Lake's pretty. It's got the green kind of water.
Yeah, and there's sailboats out there.
Sailboats,
beautiful
beaches.
View. Yeah, beaches. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unique.
It's a nice summertime.
Definitely take the
let
bug
the kids
spray.
Splash. Yeah.
We went out there twice chasing those brook trout, trying to film a video.
And you got chased?
The first time that we went out there, it was absolutely terrible. And then we went and got some bug spray and came back, and it was a lot more tolerable. But we probably got 100 bites an hour. Not the fish. On that first day.
At least something was biting, huh?
Yeah, there was bites happening.
Yeah, I know at that one beach, the daytime beach there at the end of summer, it's not mosquitoes, but they have some type of bug there. I'm sure you're familiar with. I don't know the name of anything, but giant swarms of them, just like black bugs everywhere, and you have to like swim underwater to get away from them. The chase begins. So
yeah, that's when fly fishing gets really hard because there's so much.
Because there's so many bugs, right?
Yeah.
On the other side of Elk, right there, there's that. Is it Hosmer?
Hosmer, yeah.
You ever hit that?
I thought about going when we were out there, but
that seems like a buggy spot though, because it's like got the reeds and the kind of a little more secluded.
And that's why I didn't go, because it's fly fishing only, and I didn't have my float tube with me.
Right, it's a fly fishing.
You want to get in there with like a little pontoon boat or a little float tube. You could certainly do some waders and kind of walk around, but that's best hit with like a float tube.
So fly fishing only. It feels like I'm going to like a club and like half of it's a VIP section and I'm not allowed in.
Right. I mean, it's for the longest time it used to infuriate me that it was like, well, if I'm not a fly fisherman, half of my opportunities are taken away for the state of Oregon. And then I just started really picking up and getting into the fly fishing, and
yeah.
Some of the places that I fly fish, I do understand why it's fly fishing only, but then other places, it's like, come on, like Davis Lake, for example, it's like overridden with largemouth bass. And it's like, if you want to solve that problem, I promise you the quickest way is to let the general public start coming in here and throwing crankbaits, and those bass will be gone quick.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Davis Lake is only fly fishing?
Fly fishing only, yeah.
Well,
but you go there and it's like, you literally see thousands of largemouth all along the edges, just thick as thieves.
Huh. Interesting. So, and let's go. Let's hit another lake. What else you got?
Yeah. So we left Elk and we decided to go to Lava. Same thing, chase brookies, and we hit Little Lava because they're kind of just a pair sitting next to each other there.
Cute little pair out there.
We still didn't pick up no brookies. We were just failing on it this day, but We did pick up rainbow trout while we were there. They were at least playing. So.
Little Lavas, it's one of my favorite places to throw a kayak in.
Yeah.
And just kind of troll a little bit. That I actually have some great memories of my first times attempting to do the kayak troll with like bald eagles flying over the top of me, like grabbing fish out of the water.
That's a cool place. I mean, especially when you think about it geographically, because it's the headwaters of the Deschutes River. That is where the Deschutes River starts. You know? And you're sitting there looking at the mountains while you're at the lake, and they're still totally like that northeastern bearing. And the river's starting coming out of the lake, and it's flowing south at that point. And then you realize that it's like you're looking at those mountains, and you're like, wow, this river literally goes south for a little while, cuts over across that range, and ends up on the other side of that mountain that I'm staring at right there before it goes all the way down, you know, and hits the Columbia River. But it's just kind of weird that it's on the western side of those mountains, but yet its flow in the end makes it on the eastern side of those mountains. I don't know. It's interesting.
There's some cool little
of the D.
Cool little spots once you hit that river and you like walk down it for a ways.
Yeah, there's the blue pool back there.
Yeah, the gorgeous blue pool. That's
they call it Blue Lagoon is what it is. The Blue Lagoon.
Yep, I've been there like twice ever. It's a cool swimming spot. Mm-hmm. Don't try to go there. But I was walking in at waist high, and I saw a monster fish just swim right, like hit my leg. Mm-hmm. And that's my first experience in a river with an actual big fish kind of cruising by me. And then I proceeded to try to catch it for like the next 4 hours to no avail. Sorry, dude. But we are at the 8:25 point of the show.
Oh, yes, we are.
I did want to remind people that we are giving away a pair of tickets to the Bend Elks. If you haven't been to a Bend Elks game, it's a great time. It's affordable, too. But hot dogs... They might even have vegan dogs this year. You never know. But all kinds of stuff. They got a nice patio there. People hang out and sip a few cold ones. And they have a great area along the third base field side that kids can get foul balls and autographs from the players. And it's a pretty solid summer league baseball for college players. And so we're going to be opening up the phone lines here in just a minute. So the question to win that we need the answers to, we need all these answers. The person that can come the closest will win. So the question is, we're talking Crane Prairie, right?
Crane Prairie Reservoir.
Crane Prairie Reservoir. How many list the species. I don't want to know how many, but list the species of fish in Crane Prairie Reservoir. So think about that for a minute. Get your brains percolating.
We're going to talk about Crane Prairie for a second, too, so...
yeah, we will be.
That's the next one down the Cascade Lakes Highway.
Are we just going to get into that right now?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll talk about Crane Prairie. The question is, what species are in Crane Prairie? We're going to talk about it. After we're done talking about it, I'm going to play a song and open up the phone lines. So get your pens and your papers out, your digital notes. The phone number, don't call yet. Call when we're done talking about it. The phone number is 322-0863. That's 541-322-0863. And I believe you have an option to press 1 for the studio when you hit that number, and that's the option, of course, you would take. So let's talk about Crane Prairie.
So this is going to give one of those away, guys.
Uh-oh.
The largemouth bass.
Just like a teacher.
That's obviously one of the species. The largemouth bass have been doing extraordinary over there. I haven't seen them sitting on beds yet on the spawn. They're still out feeding. Rock Creek Arm has been pretty good. We've caught some larger bass over there. Some of the here we go. The panfish. So I don't give it away. Panfish are your smaller species like bluegill, crappie, things like that.
Oh, okay.
So the panfish species that are in Crane are doing pretty well. We targeted them specifically, and we were doing like 30 fish hours. So that's good.
So here's a Bob question.
Here's the Bob question.
Bluegill.
Bluegill.
Can I cook it?
Yeah, bluegill's delicious. The thing about the bluegill is just simply that you're going to have to catch a whole bunch of them because you're not going to get much
small.
off of the little fillet.
They're kind of bony, yeah.
Those are those typical. I mean, when you fillet them, those bones that are left in the fillet, which is very few, you're filleting it, most of the bones are going to be gone. But the little bones that are left in it, they're so small that like when you deep fry them, they're just going to turn into nothing. You know what I mean? So, but that's one of those species like crappie, and bluegill where usually the limit. I was releasing everything. I have to recheck. I'm not 100% sure what the limit on bluegill is at Crane. But typically those panfish species is usually like no limit. And you fill a cooler, and you spend 3 hours filleting fish. But that's the thing is it's worth it, though, because they're super, super tasty for all that effort put in.
Yeah, I've never tried to take one home and cook it because I always just thought there wasn't much to it. But again, I'm a Bob in many ways when it comes to fishing.
That's like a lot of people don't think to cut the cheek meat out of a salmon.
Right.
There's not much to it, but it's delicious.
But yeah, growing up, going to these little ponds out in alfalfa, we'd catch bluegill and, little mini bass and we wouldn't think, the only time I would think to maybe try to eat it is if I was on like Naked and Afraid.
Survivor, man.
That's all I had. But now that I know that,
yeah, they're good.
I might try to
beer batter deep fry.
I got to try it. I have to try it. So we'll be working on that one too. And so this is anything else you want to drop about Crane Prairie?
Trout species have been doing really good as well. There's 2 species of trout in there, guys. There you go. There's a little hint. And they both have been doing pretty fair.
Yeah, and it's always been Crane Prairie's always been a pretty cool spot with what do they call them?
Rainbows.
I renamed them to my own deal. I called them the Crane Bros.
The Crane Bros. That's the genetics of the Oregon broodstock. We were getting a phone call.
Oh, we got a call. We got a phone call coming up. I know I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. I'm going to play one song, take a couple calls, and we'll be right back to see who's going to win this pair of tickets.
That hot old summer sun make you beg for your next breath. So you best be on the creek bank laid in the shade, chewing on a hickory twig. Pass that bottle, I'll have me a swig. I ain't got a lot, but I think I got it made in the shade. I'm just laid up here in a country state of mind, catching these fish like they're going out of style, drinking this homemade wine. Hey, if the sun don't come up tomorrow, people, I have had a good time. I'm just laid up country state of mind. I bet the old man's in the kitchen. He's got my kind of music on his radio. Oh, drinking his beer and dialing up request lines. Mama and old Aunt Joan probably in the dining room trying to use the phone. Me, I'm thinking about that girl and later tonight. Oh yeah, I'm just laid up here in a country state of mind. Hey, I'm catching these fish like they're going out of style. I'm drinking this homemade wine. And if the sun don't come up tomorrow, people, I have had a good time. I'm just laid up here in a country state of mind. You know the rednecks and the preppies, they're in their discos and honky-tonks. Somewhere between raising hell and amazing grace. Lord, I know just how they feel. You gotta get out and kick up your heels. And ain't it great to be living in the USA? Me, I'm laid up here in a country state of mind. Catching these fish like they're going out of style. Drinking this homemade wine all the time. If the sun don't shine tomorrow, people, I have had a good time. I'm just laid up here in a country state of mind. I know where that good is.
All right, I know we had one more caller out there. Took a couple calls, guys. Thanks for the calls. You got one last chance. We're still live. If you were that caller that I didn't get to, 541-322-0863 is the hotline. Give us a call, 541-322-0863. Got this pair of Bend Elks tickets. Last chance. We're going to give you one more minute.
And I have seen my name at the top of the page. But I need to find a friend just to run around. But nobody wants to get high on the town. And all my rowdy friends have settled down. About a lost highway. And old George Jones, I'm glad to see, is finally getting straight. And Waylon's staying home and loving Jesse more these days. And nobody wants to get drunk and get loud. And all my rowdy friends have settled down. to get drunk and get loud. And all my rowdy friends have settled down. Yeah, me and my rowdy friends done routed on down.
Except for Cap.
All right. We are live and direct once again. Thanks, guys, for playing along with our Bend Elks ticket giveaway.
Yeah.
And we did have a handful of calls. Appreciate you guys for calling in. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
That was the first time I've had some baseball tickets. First time we took in some calls for a contest. We're doing it big time here. We had a couple good calls. Just took a call from John. Had a good attempt, right?
Yeah.
Good job, John. He went with a largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, trout, kokanee, and whitefish.
Whitefish, yeah.
And
No
we did hear
smallmouth.
that on another previous call, too, with the random whitefish. I mean, you can always throw whitefish in there because there might be some somewhere.
Connected to the D, it's possible that they could end up in there.
You know,
for sure.
They just regenerate themselves out of the blue or something.
Well, you know, they typically are going to be in that river system, but because it's connected, it's not like one couldn't possibly come down into the reservoir. We're more specifically, like, we could have been more specific too, but the residence of the reservoir is what we were really after. So, I'm gonna do it here. So the closest person that we had was Tyler Brown. He was only one species away, so Tyler's going to win the Bend Elk tickets. The answer that we were looking for was rainbow trout, brook trout, largemouth bass, bluegill, catfish, and kokanee salmon. Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner.
Everybody hands go up.
Congratulations, Tyler Brown, with the win. And were you done? Were you still?
No, that was the list.
Laying down the list. Sorry, I was too busy queuing up winning music,
Which was awesome.
making sure I found the clean version. But yeah, congratulations, Tyler Brown. And Tyler Brown's a name that I have seen pop up around the fishing culture of Central Oregon.
Yeah, he runs a Central Oregon Hooked on Kokanee group. He also has Little Captain's Kokanee Tackle. So he's a known name in the Central Oregon fishing industry as well.
Yeah. So heavyweights here, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
we got the heavyweights here. And happy to have you guys. But yeah, that was exciting. And thanks to the other callers who called in also.
Absolutely.
With their attempts at getting this. But just know this is just the beginning, guys.
Yeah.
We got Bend Elks tickets today. We might have Super Bowl tickets tomorrow, you know? You never know what's next.
Well, we got to show all the bosses that it works, that we can get the phone calls and get them all kicked up and excited. And then they give us more stuff to give away, you know?
You guys hear that here at KPOV?
That's right.
But, yeah, excited about that. So, Tyler, I'll give you a call after the show's over, and we can arrange how to get you your tickets. We got your number. So Crane Prairie.
Yeah, moving back down the Cascade Lakes.
Moving back down. What else we got?
So, just past Crane, you know, we've got Wiki Up, which, you know, all of our Central Oregonians are always super enthused about what's going on with the updates with Wiki Up.
Yeah, give us a Wiki Up update. What does it look like?
So it's got water. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last. Let's be totally honest, you know, but I mean, I think I can look at what the Bureau of Reclamation says, but as far as like to the eye, you know, it's full. You go out by the dam and it's a sea of water. You go into the Deschutes Arm and there's water, you know, to troll the boat through. And so it's the classic as we know it, Wiki Up full.
Trip.
People are catching rainbows out there. They're catching brooks out there. I've heard of people catching kokanee out there this year. Not monstrous kokanee like we were used to in the whole Wiki Up fishery. Not as big in numbers as we're talking. You know, we already know that reservoir is going to need some time to rebuild and come back to what we used to know. But the signs are good as long as they don't drain the crud out of it this year.
Yeah, now Wiki Up used to have a little kokanee, some type of fish.
Yeah, it was literally like nationally known for the kokanee. Like
an annual contest, right?
Yeah. People used to catch 2-3 pound kokanee out of that thing. I mean, that's awesome. Kokanee are another one of those fish that are delicious, but they're usually small. So like if you go to Odell Lake, there's a 25 fish limit for kokanee, plus you can take another 5 for your trout limit. So me and you can go and we can keep 60 fish. And that gives you an idea that it's like when we fillet those kokanee, there's not a whole lot on that thing. That's why they're giving you that bag limit that's a larger amount. And so back in like the 90s, to be able to catch a 2-pound kokanee, 3-pound kokanee, that was just insane. That's why everybody's so mad about Wiki Up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I had signed up for some type of a contest out there at Wiki Up just maybe a year before the pandemic or something.
Speaking of contests, on the 24th, I'm going to go fish the Diamond Lake Derby.
The Diamond Lake Derby. Grab your poles.
I'm getting in on that. I figured.
What do we got going on out there? Tell me about it.
It's a trout derby. I actually haven't ever fished that derby. I've always seen it advertised year after year, and I figured, you know what, me and my buddy, the 541 fisherman, we're gonna meet up there and go out and give it a shot. I mean, it's rainbow trout, so why not?
The Diamond Lake Derby, and then there's some fun prizes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure what all the prizes are. It's me versus the fish. That's how I do it. It's like I can't get wrapped up in the whole what's there to win.
The $1,000 Hawaiian
who
getaway.
am I fishing against? It's like if I do a tournament or a derby, I sign up for it, and to me, it's just me and the fish, and if I do well, then I do well.
Yeah. And if I had the ability to participate, I would. But I said that with a little anger in my voice because I'm at a referee camp in Eugene during those dates.
Well, they don't make it easy anyways. You have to have a boat, and the boat has to be insured, and then there's entry fees, and there's red tape to it for just going and chasing a fish.
That's on top of my list possibly today is to try to start the boat up in the driveway. Haven't been able to get around to that step yet, but that's next on the list.
Yeah, our winter kind of went late. It didn't want to go away.
Yeah, and I've been doing the travel basketball stuff like every other weekend, and then my own stuff as well. But next week I am at a 3-day referee camp hosted at Matthew Knight Arena where the Ducks play. It's a lot of NCAA officials and other clinicians, they call themselves, that are kind of bigwigs in the referee game and have done a lot of big games in the past. So it's quite a learning moment, and what comes with that is always a lot of running.
Yeah.
But that's on my list. We got, one thing I would like to do this summer that I have never done is try to get some Mackinaw.
Yeah. Odell Lake, Crescent Lake.
People
Crescent. Been catching them.
Did I hear something about Crescent not having water?
No, Crescent's got water.
Everywhere's got water.
Crescent's actually kind of a funky situation because it's a natural lake, but they have built a dam on it. And the idea behind that is it's only for excess water. So it's not a reservoir where the dam goes all the way down to the lake bed. The dam starts at the lake bed that's, the lake can be 280 feet deep out in the very middle, but the dam has no water. Does that make sense? Like, it's for when it reaches overflow levels, they're able to hold some extra water and use it as a little bit of a kick for irrigation.
Okay.
So you will see on the reclamation of water that when it says that it is 0% full as far as the irrigation purposes go, that means that the lake is just simply at its natural level. That thing's deep. I don't think that Crescent and Odell Lake are going to dry up anytime in our millennium.
Okay. And we've got a special thing we want to bring up right here. Something I didn't think was going to happen. Prineville Reservoir.
Yeah. Celebrate, baby. Yeah, that lake came back.
I didn't think I would actually see that.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was gonna, I knew it was going to happen, because the Mallory Mountains got a lot of snow this year. We had a decent winter for that snowpack, and all that's just going to run down into Ochico and Prineville. It's where it's all coming from. So
yeah, the reservoir is full.
Yeah. The boat launches
go water,
are open.
ski, fish.
I haven't launched my boat in that reservoir in like 5 years because it was so low.
I thought it was just Dunsky.
Yeah,
but
that's another one of those ones though too that even when it was in that low stage, if you get out there, you couldn't launch a boat, but you could still go drag a kayak in there, and if you got a kayak that's got good sonar and whatnot. My point being is even in that low condition, when you go get in the channel, like there's still 120 feet of water. There's still a very deep cavity of canyon in there, and it's like. The fish species, for example, they might get pushed and moved out of one location and kind of condensed more towards that dam and all that deep water, but it survived just fine. We just needed the water to come back.
Just needed the water. We got the water.
Yeah,
so.
And that being said, too, they're catching the smallmouth bass out there like crazy, and I heard the crappie are starting to bite, and when they start kicking off, then it's just super fun. I mean, go take your kids down there, throw little tiny grubs just as far as you can cast, even when the kids can only cast 10 feet out from the bank. Like, they're going to catch a crappie, they're going to catch a smallmouth. Like, it's just so much competition for the food that's out there. Something's going to smash it immediately because there's just millions of crappie and just tons of smallmouth bass, competition. The fish are fighting over your grub.
Pass or smash, go to Prineville.
Yeah.
And smash.
Yeah, if you want to just rip lips now, I can't promise you that, the crappie aren't that big a fish, and I can't promise you that you're going to catch super big smallmouth, but I can assure you that you are going to have a good time.
Yeah, and any other fisheries you wanna mention that you've been to?
North Twin, South Twin have been getting stocked really good. We were at South Twin Lake this year, and the broodstock truck literally showed up on us. My buddy's like, "Isn't that a fish truck right there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think we ought to go fish over there." And then the gal hops out and she's like, "Gentlemen, your day's about to get so much better because these are broodstock." So they're the 5-pound rainbows, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!"
So
we caught and released them all, guys. We left them there for you.
Yeah, update on that. So the fish truck comes, drops them, and did you get bites?
Immediately.
Oh, yeah?
She insisted, the gal from ODFW, she insisted. She's like, "You need to throw your stuff right here because I'm going to back up right here, and we're just going to dump them onto your guys' baits."
Wow. I had heard, being Bob,
that they don't bite right away.
Yeah, and it takes a little time,
and that usually
get acquainted
is what happens
with the surrounding.
But somehow these fish were just hungry. My buddy literally hooked one. It took me a little bit to catch one. My buddy literally hooked one while there was still fish coming out of the back of the truck. Like, so. But yeah, I mean, it only took 20 minutes, and you could throw any color spinner out there, for example, and you couldn't reel it in 2 feet before you were already getting hit.
So you're saying that those fish were hungry like wolf?
Yes.
Duran Duran. If you're a Duran Duran fan, they're coming to Portland soon too. That's a big deal. Harmless Duran Duran plug. Might have harmed somebody out there though, because now they want to go to the show. My cousin was a I don't know if I should even share that, but like a Duran Duran imitator. Pretty funny stuff. We got just a few more minutes, and do we got any other bodies of water that you could think of?
Man, you know, there still obviously is. There's Davis. There's Cultus. I know that the Cultus Lake Mackinac Derby already happened.
They have a Mackinac Derby at Cultus?
They have a Mackinac Derby, yeah.
I missed it. I didn't get the notification.
Well, it was kind of... Cultus has been kind of interesting, too, because they were, like, really snowed in. Everything's been, like, so behind schedule. And there for a while, it was, you know, just a total scramble to just get out the cats and just get at least one boat ramp open so people can, you know, go about doing stuff when normally everything would be open. You know, so to the left of Cultus, I know the gravel pits, but it's Little Cultus. Yeah, Little Cultus. You ever mess around up there? Years ago, I used to. You know, all of those little high lakes are all going to have rainbows and brook trout and things like that. Little Cultus is no different. Yeah. But it's been a while since I've been up there and fished it. But it's a good little spot to go kick up a chair and just kind of hang out by the bank, fish for some, you know, rainbows and brookies. Yeah, I started driving up one of those side roads up there, and gets hairy quick. It might not be the best for a Subaru, even though or Honda. I'm sure you could get through there, but I think you want to even if you got 4-wheel drive and you're jacked up in a big Bronco or whatever it is, it's still. I mean, there's like 2-foot drops, and anytime you get that lava rock mixed in, you know it gets brutal. But you know where I want to go soon, too, is it's Miller, right? Miller, yeah. Miller, night fishing. Night fishing. And, you know, with the... That's in August, you know, when we do get those hot days, you know, because it can be 60 degrees at night, and you've got the glow sticks out. You're fishing for brown trout at night, and it's beautiful. And, Miller, you can catch more than fish is what... You can also catch aliens. Extraterrestrial activity. Man, I'm telling you, that was crazy. It really was. And you know what? More and more stuff is getting declassified, man. Did you see the story in Las Vegas the other day? Have you seen that one yet? Yeah, I did see that. There's a lot of crazy facts going on in that one. What would you do, you know, if we knew for sure that was true? What would you do if you went to your backyard and here's these 12-foot creatures and they just He's trying to take the tractor, Daddy. Everybody starts telling you you're crazy, you know, because you're the only one that saw it. But again, if it really happened, what would you do? Yeah. And 12-foot crazy, out-of-this-world creature. There's a lot of facts to back up some of that stuff. But, hey, that's all we got for time. Thanks, Josh, for hanging out with me today. Yeah. And thanks for sharing all your fishing knowledge. Thanks once for again, listening, guys. In and on the net. Central Oregon Fishing Report. On the YouTube channel. And Central Oregon Fishing Report. Go catch Duran Duran if you're feeling like it this summer. Yeah.